Most people in America are looking for how to make a life worth living and retirement worth having. In order to do this, I talk a lot about foundations of faith in terms of life balance, and that our faith is what keeps us going when we have difficulties in our families of origin or our families of choice. And openly, sometimes people get hit on both ends in a way that's immoral. You see, a girl decided she would not participate in a conversation with me, and instead of just talking to me like an adult, she called police. After that, I accidentally and foolishly shared that with a significant person in my family of origin, and after that I was constantly hounded by her lies and litigation abuse and gaslighting with the help of police. Liars in America always want to say, he's not really homeless. I am. And if you don't believe me, come and talk to me and you'll see that. If you don't believe me, then come and peek in my tent. But I'm not really inviting you to do that. I never invite someone into my tent, because the only person allowed in my tent is the woman that I love and the one that I want to marry. I've only invited 3 women in the last year to marry me, and openly one was sort of on a wing and a prayer. But openly, her social media people ruined every opportunity for me to talk to her. Or was that some police officer who's trying to say buyer beware without his rights to do so? You see, lying people in the force have all kinds of technology that they use to give people Charlie horses, to run people down, to harass people, to harangue people. And when I left jail after this marvelous incident with a female judge who just pissed all over me with her lies and her ways of just ruining my life, and I knew that day when I came back I couldn't possibly satisfy her requirements, because every place I went in walking, since I had lost my fully paid for business vehicle by the illegalness of the police officer who took it in to impound and openly made it so impossible for me to get it out, and I lost everything in it, and I had siblings unwilling, people of third-party relations under the law, unwilling to loan me the money or allow me to talk to my late mother, who at that stage could have made the decision to help me. Openly, they wanted me to become a walker and indigent, and that was their plan, and that's what they created, and that's what they've done. I do not plan to continue relationships with them at all. Unfortunately, I'm somewhat beholden to some blood relatives for what they've continued to do, because their constant haranguement, harassment, and heralding their attitudes about my life or my lifestyle or my life loves or anything like that has destroyed my abilities to interact with people. See, I had a sibling once who was just older than me by 4 years, who thought she'd buy me a cell phone. But what did she buy me? She bought me a clam phone. A clam phone doesn't really have the ability to go easily online. Isn't that lovely? But what else she didn't do is provide me a calling card as a part of that purchase. So openly, she might have gotten a calling card, but she didn't give it to me on purpose. You see, we don't need people like that in our lives. And so the Lord led me to almost 6 cell phones in trash cans, and almost each one that I had when I was sleeping on campus at 2nd and Green, across from a marvelous little Chinese shop that I loved to eat at when I had the green, openly was where my phones were stolen from my pockets when I slept out front on beautiful days, and ruined by people like Jamie and other indigents who were just jealous as hell of me and my past life. And if I find any of my artwork on campus used by any shop, I'm coming after you, not with just the law, with my fists and my gloves and everything I learned in this martial arts as a black belt. You see, I can defend myself, but when that boy woke me up at 5 in the morning when I was about to take a pee and pounded me to the ground, it was a little bit of a shocker that a black child would think he had the rights to beat up a white man in today's world. Now, where was the black community to teach that boy a lesson? Did we not come past the hatred between white and black? But I don't really see that. What I see on a regular basis, and a homeless initiative that I run, is the bicultural initiative. The bicultural initiative is, if you are a bicultural family and that your husband is black and you are a white woman, then you are welcome in a store. But if you're just a single white man who's intelligent, then you're pissed on evermore. But the truth is that black indigency is not the problem, that people of all races and colors tend to feed a black man over a white person, and then tend to feed a white woman over a white man, and the color differences are pretty marvelous. And I've seen it with other young men as well, but if you're an older white man, you often don't get played the same way. There is a white boy that comes and sits in the loop of the panhandlers that produce themselves cash from doing things in America. Like this one's got a new play that he opens a door for people who are elderly and people who have rollators which good luck going through a store that has boxes everywhere when they're bringing in product and you're wondering why didn't they put the cold food in first. That's something I never understand, and I think it's a little perverse. It's probably why we get the runs when we buy the food, but who's complaining? It's only $1. I'm not pissing on the corporation because I've often touted them as a great place to buy specific things to help the homeless. But the bungee cords are not there anymore, and my bungee cords have been ruined by someone. So every time I bought something from the dollar store or the Dollar Tree, someone would steal it back from me or ruin it in harassment. Now how marvelous is that for me?